Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Cellar TV. So today what we're going to be trying is actually this really interesting wine, and it is from Cardamone, and this is called the Reale wine, and it is a lovely Italian red from actually the Amalfi Coast, which is really quite astonishing because there are not many wineries down there, and this is a fantastic wine. And it's really quite interesting. So this is their current release, and it's actually the 2013 vintage. So here's a little close-up of this lovely sort of understated, quite simple wine label there for you. Now, to give you an idea of the grape varietals here, I'm not sure because their website's sort of non-existent, slash doesn't really have all the information that I, as a wine nerd, like to know. However, I do know for a fact that it is a blend of Piedroso and Tintorre. So those are two grape varietals which are unique to the region, generally speaking, and aren't found in too many other places. Generally speaking, Piedroso, though, is a grape variety which can also be found in Campania, just a little bit. But yes, as I said, so Amalfi Coast, just down there in the sort of the south of Italy, it's fantastic. It's an interesting place. As I said, there are a few people that are producing wine there, but nowhere near as much. I've seen pictures of the vineyards of this particular producer, and they are steep as anything, and it's ridiculous. And it's so exciting when you do see those sort of extreme landscapes that these wines are sort of growing on, that these vines are growing, and thus the wines are sort of coming from. And sort of that in itself is a story that you sort of just want to explore and implore as well, and sort of just appreciate. And so it's so exciting when you do then get to try the wine, which is the fruit, literally, of their labor. And it is just so good. And this really is. It's a fantastic red wine. And yeah, anyway, let's give it a little taste. A little smell, I should say. On the nose, it is so chock-a-block with black fruit flavors, and so these lovely sort of supple but really ripe red fruit flavors as well. So for me, this is black cherries and black plums, those beautiful sort of macerated dams and flavors, a little bit of black currant here on the nose, and some fantastic sort of overtones, if you will, of really ripe red fruit. So I'm thinking sort of really ripe raspberry characteristics coming through. But for the most part, this is a black fruit flavored wine, and it is, yeah, it's just fruit forward, and it is delicious. And actually, just there, I got a little bit of a sniff of sort of, if you can think of sort of like a dark chocolate version of your classic fruit cake, with all those sort of those glacé fruits and those raisins and those prunes and all those sorts of fruit flavors in there, and that sort of beautiful sort of demerara, that dark sort of brown sugar. And yeah, it's just so much packed into there. It's delicious. And almost a little bit porty on the nose, if you know what I mean. Those sort of really rich sort of ruby port, or sort of vintage port. Those sort of characteristics there, those lovely sort of little bit of licorice actually just there, coming out on the nose, which is quite lovely. Anyway, let's give it a little taste. So quite full and bodied. Tannins are there. I'm going to say there's probably medium to medium plus tannin. Decent acidity, medium acidity here, so that's quite nice. It helps to balance it all out. But again, fleshy and fruity and just juicy and rich. All those lovely sort of those dams and fruit flavors, those plums and those cherries are coming through there and bounds on the palate. And yeah, more of that sort of the spicy notes, those not spicy like chili, but sort of spice like cardamom, and that sort of licorice root, that aniseed sort of characteristic. Not too much aniseed, just a little whisper of sort of licorice, and all the rest just sort of in the background there. But really lovely. Oh, this is really beautiful. This is quite a treat. So as I said, so the grape varietal here that is producing it predominantly is Piedroso, and there's also the Tintorre grape varietal, which is in this particular wine as well. So this is the 2013. So we're drinking. This is 2018 now when we're making this video. and it is just drinking fantastically. This is also the current release, so it's going to be interesting to see what the 2014 is like when they finally release it. I imagine it'll be later this year. But it's delicious, and the best part about this is that it's an exciting, juicy, fruity, rich red wine, perfect for a barbecue, perfect for sort of a nice meaty dish, and all the rest. Something like cottage pie, I reckon, would just blow your socks away with this particular wine, or perhaps a slightly more Italian style dish would probably be a little bit more better suited to it. Nonetheless, it is juicy, it's rich, and it would totally go well with that, or even like a beef bourguignon or something like this. Anyway, and as I said, the best part about this is actually the fact that it's only about $40 a bottle. So it's not breaking the bank, but it's definitely a special wine and really, really, really good value. I reckon if you were to get something of this sort of power and intensity and excitement out of a place like Australia or something like that, you'd probably be paying a little bit more, quite a bit more actually, perhaps sort of 50, 60. So I'm going to say it's a bit of a bargain, which is the best part. Anyway, thank you for watching our little tasting video there today. Please like away, comment away, and let us know if you've tried this particular wine or any other wines from the Amalfi Coast, which many of you will probably know are famous for those beautiful sort of hills filled with all those beautifully different coloured little houses and all the rest just over those hills looking out over the Amalfi Coast. A beautiful place, and of course lovely beaches. Anyway, so I implore you to go to the region because it is fantastic. I love it. That's one of my favourite places in all of Italy. And of course, yes, please do like away, comment away, share around with all your friends and family and other wine-loving sort of associates. And please do subscribe, because we are constantly adding in a lot more of these sorts of videos all of the time, both educational and tasting videos. And so, anyway, I have been Connal. This has been the Cellar TV.